Welcome students to the refresher course in biomedical content writing. And this is the next session we have where we will discuss about subject and verb agreement in biomedical writing. Now, subject and verb agreement is important for any kind of a writing, but when it comes to biomedical writing, it becomes more important because it can create confusion and ambiguity in your writing if not followed correctly. Now, first we need to understand what exactly the subject and verb agreement means. So, although this is a concept which is taught in grammar, but its application is its real-time application in writing is important, not in terms of learning that what it is, but more of taking care of how it works. Now, before starting this, I would like to just tell you that when we say subject verb agreement means noun should be in agreement with the verb. Noun means who is performing the action. The person who is making the action is considered to be the noun, and the per, per, the activity which is done by the person is known as the verb. Now, these two must be in agreement with each other. Who is doing the action and what the action is doing, these both the words should have agreement or incongruence with each other so that no confusion arises when the reader reads your sentence. Now, most basic concept in English writing and conceptually simple but applied rarely by life sciences writers in India. If you read any of the manuscripts available from the Indian writers, you can see that this kind of a problem is always there in the manuscript or in the articles. Now, wrong application makes writing confusing and unclear, and it makes your writing unprofessional if applied wrong. Because anybody reading can easily assess that whether your writing is professional or you have written it very casually. You can easily see from if this agreement between the subject and the verb is not existing. Now, subject, as I told, it is a doer or the person or a thing that has done the work. That is the subject in your sentence. Then comes the verb, which is the action. What is done by this? That can be a surgery, that can be a treatment, running, eating, walking, anything that is done, the activity or the action is known as the verb. So this subject must match with the verb in terms of numbers or quantity. Suppose if one person is doing the activity, the subject and verb should match with each other. For example, subject is one, verb must be singular. That is, suppose doctor is. Doctor is singular and is a singular verb. Then comes subject is plural, the verb also must be plural. That is, nurses are. So many nurses there. So are is the verb, which is a plural verb. Then comes, just for example, read the sentence below. The doctor has performed the surgery. The doctors has performed the surgery. If you read this sentence carefully, you will see that there is a discrepancy in this sentence. Doctors is a plural, whereas has is the singular verb. So if you read this, it doesn't looks good. It doesn't feels good. The reader can easily assess that there is some kind of a mistake in the agreement between who is doing the action and what the action has been done. So now read the sentence. The doctor has performed the surgery. That doctor is a singular verb, singular noun, and has is the singular verb. So the doctor has performed the surgery is the correct form. So this is what the subject verb agreement is. Now, this looks very simple, but the problem arises because this sentence is very simple. You can easily understand, but there are sentences where this problem arises because you are not able to locate where the subject is and where the verb is. Sometimes there is a distance between the subject and the verb, and that distance can confuse you when you're writing the sentence. We'll see how that affects. Subject verb agreement rule says a singular subject must take a singular verb and a plural subject must take a plural verb. Just as we saw, the doctors has performed the surgery. When subject and verb are distant apart, Means when your subject, the doer of the action, and what is done, they are at a distance apart in the complete sentence. Let us see the example in this case. Read the sentence. Caesarean section, one of the most frequently performed gynecology procedure to deliver a baby, are being used with commercial intent in many hospitals. Now, the caesarean section is a singular. Caesarean section, we are talking about the noun, which is a caesarean. Caesarean is the subject of this sentence. Now, if you see, after comma, one of the most frequently performed gynecology procedure to deliver a baby is just the description of that caesarean section. After that, they are telling about the caesarean section, that caesarean section are being used with commercial intent in many hospitals. Now, caesarean section is singular, but are being, the are is the plural verb. So you can easily see that actually this word are is with the caesarean section, but caesarean section is singular and are is used for plural. So this is not the correct sentence, because the writer got confused that one of the most frequently performed gynecology procedure to deliver a baby are. So that this phrase in between caesarean section and are being used has been considered to make it to feel that we are talking about the plural subjects or the many subjects, but we are talking only about the single subject, that is a caesarean section and one particular caesarean section. So this are is the wrong verb used here. The correct sentence should be caesarean section, one of the most frequently performed gynecology procedure to deliver a baby, is being used with commercial intent in many hospitals. So this are and is decided by the caesarean section and not the words in between. What creates the confusion to a writer? There are three kinds of things you will find which disturbs or which makes the noun distant from the verb. These are appositives, relative clauses, and prepositional phrases. Now we'll see all the three. First, we talk about appositives. Appositives are the nouns, pronouns, or the noun phrases that are placed next to the subject to further describe the noun or the subject. When large part of a sentence is separated by a comma, read without that and you can easily correct the sentence. For example, organizational psychotherapy, comma, one of the most frequently used tool by big corporates. Now, one of the most frequently used tool by big corporates is just the explanation of organizational psychotherapy. So, and organizational psychotherapy is a singular subject. So the word are being is actually wrong, because we are talking about the organizational psychotherapy, which is a singular. So are must be singular here. And what is a singular form of are? That is. Organizational psychotherapy, one of the most frequently used tool by big corporates, is being used with commercial intent in many hospitals. So this is how we can easily see that how the singular verb goes with the singular subject and plural verb goes with the plural subject. Now comes the prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase are the group of words which are used to describe your subject is a relative clause. While writing, writer must check and keep in mind that verb must match subject, not its description or the qualities. The example is below. You see the American physician, who is one of the world's leading exponents of infection control and is known to have trained thousands of nurses, are living in India. Are living in India is actually when you have placed are, considering that it is with the nurses, but nurses word is actually describing the American physician, that he has trained thousands of nurses. So if you remove this middle sentence, who is one of the leading exponents of infection control and is known to have trained thousands of nurses. Just read, the American physician are living in India is a single physician, and we are using are living, which is a wrong. So we have to write the American physician is living in India. And whatever is in between these two sentences, this is mainly the description of this American physician. When prepositional phrase used, keep subject before the phrase always and never after it. While writing, writer must check and keep in mind that verb must match the subject, not the description or the quality. Example again here, the scientists in the medical microbiology is average writers. And the second is the scientists in the medical microbiology are average writers. Which of the two is considered to be the correct one? As we are talking about the plural subject, which is the scientists, and although medical microbiology is a singular, but the subject is our scientists, and scientists is a plural word. The scientists in the medical microbiology are average writers is a correct sentence, because is used for the singular, whereas the scientists, many scientists are there, so we cannot use is with the average writers. This is the first one, is the correct version in this. Now, out of these two sentences, which sentence is correct out of the two below? Sentence A says Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse is coming for a dinner. And sentence B says Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse are coming for the dinner. If you carefully see, it feels like the B is correct, because Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse, they are the two people, so they are coming for the dinner. But if you go correct with your writing, the sentence A is the correct version. Reason being, when we talk about the subject, only and word, you must remember this rule, that only the and word can make your subject plural. As well as her assistant nurse keeps Dr. Vandana as a singular subject only. So the first version is the correct one. Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse is coming for a dinner. And in English, only the word and can make your subject plural. Other phrases like as well as, in addition, including, etc., they just add more information to your subject. They does not make your subject plural. Just like here, Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse. Now, as well as her assistant nurse is just adding the description of your subject, that is Dr. Vandana. So this is not the two people. This is considered as the one subject. You must remember this, that if it is Dr. Vandana and her assistant, then it comes to be the plural. But here, as well as her assistant nurse, this keeps Dr. Vandana as a singular subject. So the A option is correct. That is Dr. Vandana as well as her assistant nurse is coming for a dinner. These are called additives, and they never make them to use incorrect word with their verb, their subject. Now, exception can be there. Now, where the exception usually comes? For example, here in this sentence, fruits and soybean is are a recommended high protein diet. Now, what to be used here, is or are? Now, if you see, fruits and soybean together are considered singular in this particular sentence. So, as per the word used after the verb, means after is or are, that is a diet. Now, diet is singular here. So, fruits and soybean, they are together considered to be a singular word. And that is why we use is here, and the correct version will be the fruits and soybean is a recommended diet, high protein diet. So you have to just see that whether whether you want to write it whether you are writing with the considering it to be a single subject, or we are taking as them as two different things, and accordingly you have to use the verb with the subject. Now, either or, neither nor cases while writing. Now, if you see sentence A, which is the correct verb, are or is? Neither Dr. Suresh nor his team nurses are is available in the operation theater. Now, other sentence says neither Dr. Suresh's team nurses nor Dr. Suresh are is available in the operation theater. Now, in these two sentences, which particular verb should be used? Are or is? This is the question we need to think about. Now, if we see as per the rule, when you are using either or neither nor, the rule should be that whatever is near to your verb means near to your are and is, which is the word or the subject. Now, neither Dr. Suresh nor his team nurses. In the sentence A, nurses is the word closer to your verb. So nurses is plural. So you have to use are in this case. Whereas in sentence B, neither Dr. Suresh's team nurses nor Dr. Suresh. Now Dr. Suresh word is more closer to your verb. So Dr. Suresh is a singular person. So Dr. Suresh is available in the operation theater. So what the rule says here is, if you are using neither and nor, two people are involved, two subjects are involved, the subject which is closer to the verb should follow the verb which is used with that particular subject. In the first sentence, it is with the nurses, we will go with are. Whereas in the second sentence, Dr. Suresh is there near to the are and is, so we will use is, because is a singular verb along with a singular subject. Now, rule is get the verb to agree with subject that is closer to it. In sentence A, nurses word is closer, so we use are. Whereas in sentence B, Dr. Suresh is closer to the verb, so we use is. Now, see this. This is the correct version. Neither Dr. Suresh nor his team nurses are. Nurses are. And in the sentence B, neither Dr. Suresh's team nurses nor Dr. Suresh is. You can see the subject which is nearer to the verb will be considered as the in agreement with the verb. I hope you got this point, and this is one of the important points you need to take care when you are writing for the biomedical subjects. Now again comes the collective nouns. Team of doctors are is discussing about the final treatment option. Now team of doctors, if you talk about, then group of nurses is a part of are or is a part of infection control committee. Now which one should be used, are or is? Because team or the group, they are the collective nouns. Rule is that the collective noun like team, group, etc. is treated as a singular always. Now, team of doctors is plural, but we are talking about not the doctors, we are talking about team. So team is discussing about the final treatment option. Similarly, group of nurses, we are not talking about nurses, we are talking about the group of nurses, and group is a singular noun. So we use is with it. So in case of collective noun also, we have, they are considered to be the rule is the collective noun, they are used as a singular always, and the verb will be singular while writing this. Now each and every cases while writing for biomedical subject, each of the geneticists is in the genetic engineering department. Now here we will use are or is. The rule is each and every are singular always in writing. When you're writing anything, each one, everyone, someone, these are the terms where you always use singular verb. So each of the genesis is in the genetic engineering department. Now, this is the list that confuses biomedical writer to use plural verb and make writing dull and unprofessional. These are the list of words you have to remember to keep always singular. Whenever you are using each, every, anyone, everyone, someone, anybody, everybody, somebody, anything, everything, something, whoever, whatever, nobody, nothing, no one, all these words will always take your singular verb. Always remember this particular rule because you will never get confused. Each one of is, each one is, anything are, it never goes with the plural verb. Anything has, never anybody have. So these all the words are used for the singular person. Means we consider this to be a one person, not many people. Even many doctors are there, but when you are saying anybody or everybody to all the doctors, then that becomes a singular subject, and we always use the singular verb. Then we talk about the number or a number. Now this is also important that confuses biomedical writers when talking about the statistics and numbers. Always remember, rule A is the number is singular. When you're writing the number of patients outside the hospital, you use is increasing. The number is a singular. Rule B is a number is always plural. A number of patients are standing outside the hospital. Although a number looks similar, but it is always plural. But the number is always, we talk about the singular and always use is. Now, expression of quantity, fractions or percentages, verb agree with subject after the preposition. Now, half of the treatment is wrong. Half of the surgeries are unnecessary. You have to see treatment word is singular, so you are using is. Although half of the treatment we are talking about and half of the surgeries, we are talking about the surgeries, many surgeries, so we are using are unnecessary. Then majority itself is a singular, but when majority refers to a set of people, then you have to see that majority words is taken as a plural. For example, a majority is always right. Here in this sentence one, it is a singular subject. Majority means we are talking about most, and this is considered to be a singular. But when you say a majority of nurses, then it becomes plural because you are talking about the majority of nurses, many nurses. So we say that the nurses are well qualified. A majority of nurses is well qualified is the wrong here. So when you use majority word as a generic word, you will always use singular verb. Whereas when you say majority of nurses or majority of doctors, it is considered as a plural form and you use are well qualified. See, although these points are looking very simple and straightforward, but they make your writing really powerful and more professional. So don't take these points leniently. These points are important and they tell the reader about the quality of your writing. And it gives you the feeling that the written words have the credibility and they are written by some professional writers. And these are the things which are always have to be checked by the editor when you submit your article to any media. So if you keep these correct, you will gain more confidence from the editors and the proofreaders of the publication as well. So take them seriously, and it is not like you can jot down just them, and if you take care once or twice, you will keep remembering these things and it will automatically come into your writing. Now, one of the X who oblique that. Now this is a structure of sentence. Remember this structure when you write one of the noun, which is a plural noun, plus that or who, plus plural verb. If this is the structure of noun, so structure of your sentence, then what will you do? For example, this is one of the findings that belongs to our medical case study. Now here, what we will use, belong or belongs. Just think about it. It should be belongs, because here in this structure, one of the findings that belongs to our medical case study. So belongs word will give you more clear, more correct sentence rather than using the word belong. So if you remember this structure written in the this different color, you must use the plural verb always to keep your sentence structure correct. Now, one of the nouns which will be a plural noun plus that or who plus plural verb. See the examples here. Miss Nandini is one of the nurses who is on duty here. Any of the surgical team members who disagree may leave the OT. This is one of the medical procedures that is incorrect. All the three sentences, they follow the above structure. Now comes the second structure. This is one of the noun, which is a plural noun plus singular verb. Example is one of the patients is dead, not are dead. When we are talking about one of the patients, we are talking only about the one, and one must have the singular verb, which is. So it is one of the patients is dead, and never the one of the patients are dead. So see, this is a small, although this looks very small mistake, but it creates a different impression in the mind of writers. And when the reader reads it, it gets more clear and more professional when you write the correct verb and the correct subject in the sentence. Now, subject-verb agreement actually makes your writing clear, simple, and professional for the readers. And biomedical writer never makes mistake in following this agreement. So just remember, in your sentence, check out for two things. First is whom we are talking about. What is the subject of my sentence? Whether we are talking about the procedure or the person or the doctor or the nurse or the patient. Second, what exactly they are doing. If these two things are you have identified, try to keep them in agreement. Although there may be some distance between the two, or there are terms like each, every, one, each one, all those things, remove those and use clear-cut uh, uh, clear-cut coherence between the two, and match the two, and your sentence will be more stronger and more professional for the readers. Now with this, we are over with this session, and thank you so much for being with us, and we'll give you more information about more rules available for the biomedical writers. Thank you so much.